Terry Hayes, Level-Headed Natalie, Eyes Wide Shut. What's up? What's up? Ooh. What's up, one man? Good to see you all. Pied Piper. What's up? What's up? I was actually gonna go live last week, and I went to UCR last week, but when I got there I realized that it was a ghost town, so it didn't even cross my mind that they had spring break. So I looked it up, and yeah, they had spring break that whole week. So if I would have looked it up before going, I would have saved myself the trip of going. and I remember going during winter break, but it wasn't as empty as it was this time. Like, it was at least, you could see students walking, so I remember setting up still, and I think I had a couple conversations still during winter break, but this time it was a complete ghost town, like literally. So I didn't even want to waste my time, so I just called it, but yeah, luckily spring break's over and the students are back in their indoctrination camps, and here I am, so we'll see how it goes. I do want to give my thoughts about the acceleration versus constant velocity, just to address some of the points about the accelerating upwards earthers. So I'll get into that in a bit. Just wait a little bit, see if anybody joins the table real quick. If not, then I'll get into it. V. Thomas, Tina, what's up? What's up? Man, it's a little windy. A little windier than I thought, that's for sure. All right. So I guess I'll just get right into it. That way I could get it out of the way already. So the reason why I don't buy these experiments from the accelerating earthers, I think his name is Jason. Am I mistaken? I think it's the Rising Earth channel, right? I think that's the guy that's putting out the experiments of acceleration versus constant. So the reason why I don't buy those experiments, I'm gonna get into. So here's what the accelerating earthers are claiming. So they're claiming that when you have an object, right, and you release it into free fall, right, there's nothing decelerating it, so it's not decelerating down. So what happens is when you're holding it, it's accelerating with the earth and everything inside of it, so it's increasing its velocity. That's another thing that they're claiming. They're claiming acceleration as an increase in velocity, which again, at the end of the day, there's two different kinds of acceleration. There's acceleration linearly, which is increasing your velocity more and more and more and more. In other words, getting faster, faster, and faster, and faster. And then there's also acceleration remaining at a constant velocity, which means you're not traveling in a straight line. So if you're traveling like in some kind of like circle, rotation or some sort, then you can have acceleration while remaining at a constant velocity. Why? Because there's a constant change in direction. But they're claiming that there's an acceleration that's increasing in its velocity. So they're going with the linear acceleration, right? So what they're claiming again is that when you release an object, that it doesn't decelerate now. So what happens is when you're holding it again, it's accelerating, and as soon as you release it, it goes to a constant velocity. So it's no longer accelerating up. So the Earth catches up at 22 miles per hour per second, which is 9.8 meters per second. So that's what they're claiming. Again, the object doesn't decelerate, it just moves at a constant velocity in free fall, and the Earth starts to catch up because the Earth is still accelerating, right? At 22 miles per hour per second. Here's my problem with that, first of all. So if you're claiming acceleration of the Earth 22 miles per second every second, that means in 1 minute, I just do the math real quick because I don't want to give false numbers. In 1 minute, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, so it's 22 miles per hour times 60. In 1 minute, you will reach a greater velocity of 1,320 miles an hour in 1 minute. There'll be a difference in speed between the free-falling object and the accelerating Earth. A difference in speed of 1,320 miles per hour in just 1 minute. That's how fast the Earth is accelerating in 1 minute. Increasing its velocity than it was before, right? So in 1 hour, because there's 60 minutes in an hour, now we multiply that times 60. In 1 hour, it's traveling or gained more velocity. In other words, 79,200 miles an hour that it gained in 1 hour from 1 hour before. So whatever speed it was going, to say if it was going 1,000,000 miles an hour, now in 1 hour it's traveling 1,079,200 miles per hour in 1 hour. So that's how much velocity it increased in an hour. So in 1 day, why? Because there's 24 hours in a day. We multiply that 79,200 times 24. In 1 day, the Earth is accelerating at 1.9 million miles per hour, at over 1.9 million miles per hour every day. So these accelerating Earthers are literally claiming that. That's their default claim. If the Earth is increasing its velocity indefinitely, then it's accelerating at 1.9 million miles per hour every day. And you could do the math. You can multiply that times 365, for a year, and then multiply the year times how many years you want. And again, you can theoretically come up with a number of how much acceleration or how much velocity the Earth is gaining every year or every month, whatever you want to do the math for, right? But in one full day, 1.9 million miles per hour. That's what they're claiming, right? So here's my problem with that, because first of all, you will have to be claiming infinite speed, which at the end of the day, if you're claiming infinite speed, it's, the Earth will basically fall apart, in my opinion, right? But I guess because there's no resistance in their model, I guess that's why it doesn't. But point being is, here's my thing. If the Earth was traveling at least 500,000 miles an hour, so 500,000 miles an hour at a constant velocity, then elevator experiment, because an elevator travels between 5 to 20 miles per hour on average. Because I did the experiment and I didn't see any change in the weight while it was moving up, but then it got me thinking, like, well, what if the Earth was traveling really, really fast? Because again, these accelerating Earthers are claiming 1.9 million per hour every day, increasing its velocity. So what if the Earth was moving at 500,000 miles an hour at least, right? Then the velocity that you add from the elevator, it's pretty much negligible. I wouldn't expect to see a difference in weight. Adding 5 to 10 miles per hour upwards to the 500,000 miles per hour, which again, that's at least, in my opinion, what the Earth is traveling. It could be traveling faster than that at constant velocity. So if the Earth was traveling again at least 500,000 miles an hour upwards at a constant, then adding 10 miles an hour to that, you're not going to notice a difference. You're not going to see a difference. So not only that, because a lot of people say, well, well, deceleration due to inertia, it's very slow. It's very slow deceleration. So how can it decelerate at 9.8 meters per second? That's fast deceleration. Well, the deceleration is relative to the speed of an object moving. So yeah, something is moving at 50 miles an hour, then the deceleration of that due to inertia, it's almost not detectable, but it's there. You know, the deceleration is relative to the speed that something is traveling. So again, if the Earth was traveling at least 500,000 miles an hour, then that 22 miles per hour loss in 1 second is almost nothing. It's basically almost nothing relative to the speed of the Earth, which will be like 500,000 miles an hour at least. So 22 miles per hour deceleration from 500,000 miles an hour or more is basically nothing, you know, relative to that speed that the Earth is traveling. So again, that would make sense to me why, to us, that 9.8 meters per second deceleration is a lot. You know, that's because we're small, we're tiny. You know, so to us, to our measurements as a human being within Earth, then that, yeah, 22 miles per hour deceleration is fast. But relative to the speed of the Earth, if it was moving at least 500,000 miles an hour, that deceleration is nothing. You know, it's like almost like it didn't decelerate, but it is decelerating, very minute, relative to the speed that the Earth is moving. So again, let's say the Earth was moving that fast, then again, I wouldn't expect to see a deceleration of something moving up at 10 miles an hour, you know, something moving very slow, you know. So relative to the speed of the Earth, because at the end of the day, we don't know the speed of the Earth. But to claim that the Earth is moving at less than 1,000 miles an hour, to me, that's laughable. It's laughable, you know, to think that the Earth is moving at like 500 miles an hour, like an airplane, like to think that something as massive as the Earth, that's God made literally, to think that we can match its speed with man-made devices here on Earth, I think it's not only laughable, but it's like egotistic to think that we can actually match the speed of the Earth. So in my opinion, the Earth is traveling at a way faster speed than we could even imagine, right? Again, it could be at least 500,000 miles an hour or more. It could be more. Again, the accelerating Earthers are claiming 1.9 million per hour acceleration every day. So it's not far-fetched to claim that it's moving at least 500,000 miles an hour, which again, you wouldn't get a displacement or an increase in weight by just adding, you know, like 10 miles an hour, which is what an average elevator rises, you know. Not only that, I was gonna make another point. Oh, here's another thing. I'm open. Again, I'm not throwing it out of the window. I'm just thinking about it logically. So here's another thing. In my opinion, these experiments that they're showing of acceleration versus constant velocity, and the acceleration shows an increase in weight, in my opinion, those are parlor tricks. Why? I want to see an experiment of the claim, which is something accelerating 22 miles per hour every second, and show me the weight not increase. So for example, from 0 to 220 miles an hour in 10 seconds. Show me that experiment of something accelerating at from 0 to 220 miles per hour in 10 seconds without an increase in weight. Then I will give some merit to these experiments. Until I see that experiment, any other experiment, in my opinion, is just a parlor trick. You know, and that's my reasoning. You know, so when people say, "Oh, how come you need acceleration when accelerating horizontally? How come you can't see the displacement, you know, horizontally when you're traveling at a constant velocity?" Well, imagine trying to overcome 500,000 miles an hour, you know, at a constant velocity. Of course, you're not going to be able to. And again, that's my opinion, that at least it's moving at that speed. At least. It could be moving faster than that at a constant velocity. We don't know. So to claim that, oh, an airplane travels 500 miles an hour, how come that doesn't show any displacement moving at a constant? How come things don't fly to the back? Well, because first of all, it's being pushed up by the air, which is being pushed up by the Earth, which is moving at the speed of the Earth, which again could be 500,000 miles an hour, 500,000 miles an hour. So an airplane moving at 500 miles an hour is not going to overcome that. You know, so again, the Earth's speed is key, you know, to these experiments, to understanding what's going on, in my opinion. But again, in my opinion, if you're going to give merit to these experiments of the accelerating Earthers, then you're assuming that the Earth is moving at less than 1,000 miles an hour. You have to assume that the Earth is moving less than 1,000 miles an hour, and you can easily increase the effects by just adding 10 to 20 miles an hour to that speed. That's the only way you'll be able to add to it and see the effects of that addition of speed, is if the Earth was moving at less than 1,000 miles an hour, which in my opinion, that's ridiculous, you know, because again, the Earth is massive. There's no way it's moving that slow, you know, relative to the Earth's size. That's very slow. That's almost like it's not even moving. You know what I'm saying? So again, those are my thoughts, and the experiment I want to see is acceleration at 22 miles per hour every second. So in the first second, 22 miles per hour, second 44 miles an hour, third second, 66 miles an hour, fourth second, until I see that experiment like of acceleration up without an increase in weight, then I would be more open to that accelerating Earth claim, right? Until then, in my opinion, the Earth is moving at a constant velocity, but it's much faster than we think. So that's my opinion. So again, if anybody here's another thing. Even if acceleration was required, right? Even if acceleration was required, in my opinion, the Earth is not moving in a straight line. In my opinion, the Earth is moving some kind of circular path. Again, the tides prove that to me, because there's a reorientation of water. Again, let me just go over this real quick for the ones that are new, So let me look this up. So again, the tides. The difference in height between the high tide and the low tide is called the tidal range. It's a horizontal movement of water, often accompanies the rising and falling of the tides. So again, that's what the tides are. So here we go. So the tidal range. The typical tidal range on the open ocean is about 1 meter, 3 feet. So on average, that's what it is. Closer to the coast, this range is much greater, and coastal tidal ranges vary globally and can differ anywhere from 0 over 16 meters, which is 52 feet. So again, the tidal range, it's a gradient. It's not a constant. So it's not the tidal range. So that shows me that the water's not being drained out and then poured back in, because that will give you an even, elevation of water, decrease and increase. That will give you an even, but it's not even. It's a deviation. It's a tidal range gradient that goes from 0 all the way up to 52 that humans have measured, right? So you have two options. If you believe in the globe Earth, this is what the tides look like. And again, if you understand the level Earth, then this is what it looks like. You only have two options. Literally, you only have two options. So it's either the water is deviating or reorientating on level Earth, or it's just doing this weird fucking bulb shit on the globe, right? These are the only two options when it comes to the tides, when we're talking about the Earth and the water on Earth. So again, understanding that water cannot reorientate itself, that it reorientates relative to the direction of the vector, this shows me without a shadow of a doubt that the Earth is not moving in a straight line, because if it was moving in a straight line, then there wouldn't be a high tide and a low tide. The water will remain horizontal and not deviate from that. It would stay at that same orientation indefinitely. But we have a constant high tide and low tide. It's constant. It happens every 6 hours or so, right? We have four high tides and low tides a day. And they're constant. They never stop. That shows me that there's a constant change in direction. So again, for people that are like hell-bent on, it's acceleration is required, and to have displacement, well then, okay, sure. If acceleration was required, then we could still have acceleration remaining at a constant velocity. Why? Because the Earth is not moving in a straight line, in my opinion, based on the physics of water. So again, you could have an increase in weight using acceleration while remaining at a constant velocity, So some people like to say that, accelerometers only register acceleration, but not if you're not moving in a straight line, then you can still register an increase in that acceleration while remaining at a constant speed. Let me see if I can show a video from Execrate real quick, just to make that point. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen it, but it's good. It shows an accelerometer. There we go. It shows an accelerometer moving at a constant velocity, but accelerating because there's a constant change of direction. It's going in a circle. So here, I'll just play it real quick. Booming, that's based on the dimensions of the Earth that they're showing us. Every map, in my opinion, is not correct. So So yeah, there might be some inconsistencies of the high tides and the low tides based on the maps that we've been shown and based on the continents and the layouts of the continents that we've been shown, but nobody knows the true layout of the Earth. That's the fact. And to dismiss that there's a deviation of water based on those, based on the maps that were shown and the inconsistencies relative to those maps, then to me that doesn't prove anything. Because at the end of the day, again, there is a reorientation of water. There's a deviation of water. There's a horizontal movement of water that even the mainstream admits, you know. And you can't have a tidal range gradient without, and a horizontal movement of water of that tidal range gradient without a deviation of that water. That's just a fact. You know, the water is not doing a zigzag on the surface to give you different, you know, that's not what it's doing. It's not doing a zigzag on the surface, giving you different high tides and low tides all randomly throughout the Earth. No, that's not what's happening. That's not how water behaves. So I go with what physics shows me and how water behaves. That's what shows me. Not maps and not finding inconsistencies based on the locations of two places on a map that I'm shown. You know, so that's just my opinion, you know. Martin Allen, what's up? Cal 40. Alright, let's just finish this one. Okay, finished. So again, that's just an example of how you could have acceleration at a constant velocity without having to increase your velocity. You know, why? Because there's a constant change in direction, so that you're gonna have to constantly accelerate to remain at that constant speed. Because there's a constant change in direction, which again, in my opinion, even if acceleration was required, these accelerating earthers dismiss the fact that there is evidence, again, water, you know, showing that the Earth is not moving in a straight line. They'll completely dismiss that and just claim that, oh, it's an acceleration into infinity, you know, an increase in velocity. And again, I'm not knocking it, you know, I'm just going based on how I understand physics and based, you know, I'm just thinking about it logically, you know, and these are the reasons to why I can't accept these experiments. Because again, these experiments assume that the Earth has to be moving at a slower rate than 1,000 miles an hour. You have to be assuming that, and that's why you don't see any displacement, you know, at a constant by adding like 10 miles an hour to that, you know, which, you know, again, in my opinion, that's faulty reasoning, you know. But again, people could believe whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's funny how these accelerating earthers don't use this, the upwards motion of the Earth, whether you claim acceleration or constant velocity. It's funny how they don't focus on that as the main front of their main point, right? They still focus on the TFE, they still focus on bullshit fucking experiments, you know, and don't even talk about this to other motionless flat earthers or globe earthers. You know, they don't hammer down this fact that the Earth is pushing up. Again, whether you claim acceleration or constant velocity, that's something that could be talked about after we debunk the globe and the motionless flat Earth, in my opinion. So the fact that they're trying to drag this and to make it a debate and call me a shill because I don't agree with them that it's accelerating up based on these faulty experiments that have to assume that the Earth is moving at a much slower speed, which, because again, if it was moving at a much faster speed than we think, then I wouldn't expect to see a displacement and a constant velocity of just adding 10 to 20 miles per hour, you know. So again, to me, it's a distraction. It's literally just derailing the simple fact that there is no physical downwards acceleration in free fall, which literally single-handedly debunks the motionless flat Earth and the entire heliocentric model. So I'm not gonna be dragged into these fucking pointless debates unless you can show me acceleration of 22 miles per hour every second and show me that there is no increase in weight for at least 10 seconds. So 0 to 220 miles per hour in 10 seconds without an increase in weight. Until I see an experiment like that, then I will concede and I will admit that, okay, there's something here. Until then, thinking about it logically, the Earth, in my opinion, is not increasing its velocity into infinity. For that reason, that the Earth could be moving way faster than we think again. And also the fact that the Earth is not moving in a straight line, which still gives you an acceleration for those that want to claim acceleration. Like, you know, oh, the Earth has to be accelerating. It has to. That's the only way to have displacement. And okay, sure. But it's not. It's accelerating while remaining at a constant velocity because it's not moving in a straight line. There you go. No, but no, these accelerating earthers don't like that one. They don't like, they want to ignore the tides. They want to ignore the physics of water, and they just want to stick to that. Oh, it's linear acceleration and it's increasing its velocity into infinity. And it's like, well, again, if you want to believe that, go ahead. I don't care. Like at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what the Earth is or what the speed is and none of that. I'm just thinking about it logically, and that's my conclusion based on what I have, shown to myself and based on what others have shown. So at the end of the day, people could believe whatever they want, and that's that. Looks like some cities wanted to stop, but I don't know. A little shy. You guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah, give it a shot, yeah.
2 very easy questions. A 5th grader can get them.
I don't know if I get it.
You'll get it. So here I have a box truck, 3 different box trucks, and there's a bowling ball hanging with a string. I want to see if you could tell me. So one of them is accelerating forward, one of them is accelerating in reverse, and one of them is at rest. So out of these 3, which one is at rest?
What? Hold on.
So which one is at rest out of these 3?
Well, it's a trick question.
No, it's a real question. So
at rest, it's got to be B.
It is, yeah, exactly. Which one is accelerating forward?
This one.
Why is that one accelerating forward?
Going forward, going back.
Exactly. The ball appears to swing back. And I can show that here, look, with this. It's a ping pong ball. Again, it's more dense in the air.
Yeah.
If I accelerate this way, what ball is the direction going to swing? Exactly. It goes this way. Exactly. You got it. That's the first one. You already got it. So the second one is pretty similar. But in this case, I have a helium balloon inside the box truck. Okay. So out of these 3, which one is at rest?
Man, balloons be going back and forth. They be moving around.
Sure.
Even when I said
which one's at rest, though?
Oh, B.
You got it? So which one is accelerating forward?
C.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I can show that here. So this is a buoyant object. It's less dense than the medium that surrounds it, just like the helium balloon with air. If I accelerate in this direction, what direction will the ball go?
It'll go wherever the direction is going.
It's the direction of the force, exactly. So that's the direction it goes, exactly, because it's less dense. So the air moving in that same direction, or the water in this case, is able to push anything that's less dense in that same direction because it's more dense.
Gotcha.
So again, buoyancy always follows the direction of the force 100% of the time. So let me show you something here, real quick. I should have had this right here. So I have 2 containers here. One of them I actually accelerated down, and one of them I didn't. So which one did I accelerate down? The one on the left or the one on the right? So the red, the one on the right, exactly. So the ping pong ball gets pushed down in the direction of acceleration, and the steel ball just swings in the opposite direction. Again, when something swings in the opposite direction, it's simply being left behind. That's what's happening, because in space it's not really moving, it's the whole container that's moving, and that more dense object is being left behind. So in other words, matter will always react to acceleration, always, 100% of the time. So the one on the left here is actually free fall. So do you believe when I'm holding something like this and I release it into free fall, you believe it accelerates down?
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, again, matter shows that there is no physical downwards acceleration in free fall. That because when I actually accelerate, we see the effects of acceleration. So, and I don't know if you knew, gravity is just a theory. So the fact is that gravity has never been measured because there's never been a matter never detects acceleration in free fall. So a detectable force in free fall has never been measured. So that's why gravity has never been proven. Yeah. So the fact is we understand buoyancy always follows the direction of the force. If I have a helium balloon here and I release it, what direction does the helium balloon go? So why does it go up?
I don't know.
Well, again, it's the same reason.
The same concept you're telling me about right now?
So it's the air that's pushing it up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the air is more dense than helium, so it's able to push it up. But we know inanimate matter cannot move by itself, so what's pushing up the air to be able to push up the helium? It's the ground. So it's the ground that's pushing up the air, that's compressing the air, and then the air is able to push up the helium. But something that's more dense than the air, like this phone, and I release it, the air's not able to push that up. So this only appears to accelerate down, but that's because it's the Earth that comes up to meet this. So that's what's happening. When you release something into free fall, that didn't move down to the Earth. It's the Earth that moved up to the object. So that's the force. The force is up. So the force is not a pulling force of the Earth. It's a pushing force of the Earth. So you guys believe the Earth is a ball, right?
Yeah.
So if we could prove that it's the Earth literally pushing up, moving up, and up is relative on a ball. So in other words, up is this way. If you're down here, up is this way. So in every direction away from the center, if we could prove, how can the Earth be moving up simultaneously in every direction if it was a ball? So the fact is it wouldn't work. That would mean the Earth will have to be growing by the second and it will eventually explode. So in order for people to believe in the ball Earth theory, they first have to believe in the theory of gravity. So that's why we're told that theory of a pulling force, because if we could prove that it's the ground literally pushing up instead, then the whole globe Earth model falls apart. So the fact is the Earth is a level plane and we're all standing on it and it's literally pushing up right now. So you're not being pulled down to the Earth right now, it's the Earth pushing up against you right now. So that's the fact.
So there's an edge to it?
So the Earth is a contained system. So maybe the government have found this containment, but that's when, in my opinion, that's why NASA was established, to lie to everybody about what the Earth actually is, because they don't want us to find out what they found out. So there's no edge, there's an end to the Earth. So it's being contained by a physical barrier, in my opinion. So we're inside of it. So nobody's been outside of the Earth. That's the fact. You know. Again, you guys heard of the second law of thermodynamics, right? It has to do with entropy.
Yeah, naturally.
So basically what that means is, in order to have two opposing pressure systems next to each other, so if you have a vacuum and a pressurized system, in order to keep them separated, you need a solid barrier separating them. As soon as you remove that solid barrier, you have equilibrium. So the air will always rush to the lower pressure until it equilibrates. So the fact is that they're claiming outer space is an open system, which is a vacuum next to Earth's pressure system, without a solid barrier. That defies physics. That defies the second law of thermodynamics, because the air will literally instantly rush out into space and fill the empty space. But again, the Earth, in my opinion, is being contained by a physical barrier. That's the only way to maintain pressure.
So you do as a project?
No, I'm doing this out of my free time. Yeah. I found this out almost 10 years ago, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, coming out and speaking to people. And I'm gonna tell you this: over 95% of flat earthers are all in on it as well. They're all bullshitting as well. All YouTubers online, they're all bullshitters. Why? Because they're claiming the Earth is motionless. What does that mean? They also believe that there's a magical force in free fall that cannot be detected or measured. So they're having this fake debate with globe Earth. So flat Earth versus globe Earth is a false dichotomy. So they're both in on it. That's a controlled opposition. Have you guys ever heard of that term? Controlled opposition. So it's basically it's two sides of the same coin. In other words, the whole mainstream flat Earth and the globe Earth, they're all bullshitters. So people like myself are completely being suppressed, super censored online, and yeah, that's why they're keeping this information from real people, and that's why I'm coming out to speak to people like you guys, because there's no other way to present this.
So
yeah.
When there's like NASA goes to space, what is that?
So NASA is just Disney for adults.
So it's fake.
It's all CGI, yeah.
So that whole trip back in.
Yeah, the moon landing, even Mars, the rover that they're supposedly having Mars right now, it's all fake. Yeah. So the lights, if you guys look, let me just show you guys real quick what the stars actually look like. Because a lot of people think that the stars are other planets and stuff like that, but the reality is that the stars are just lights in the sky. So this is what the stars actually look like when you zoom into them. They're just lights that are twinkling in water. It looks like they're just twinkling in water. So this is what Mars looks like, but this is what NASA shows us. They show us a cartoon, but this is what it actually looks like. They're literally just no different than the other stars. So again, what they're showing us is all just bullshit to make us believe in the heliocentric model that we've been outside of the Earth and there's other planets, and all of that is just to feed the idea of a globe Earth, which the fact is nobody's been outside of the Earth. You know.
So do you believe that there's no other planet for Earth?
No. The word planet is just made up, so it's a plane. They just added a T to the end of that. They called it a planet. I do, definitely. Yeah. I'm actually live streaming right now, so you guys can check it out. But here's my channel. So
you record without my consent.
well, you're in public, so we're being recorded all the time. Yeah, this is public right here. This is a public sidewalk. Yeah, I tried to go in there and they kicked me out. So right here's fine. You know, I don't mind.
William?
Yeah, you want to take? Yeah, I'm William. Yeah, man. Nice to meet you, man. Appreciate the chat. You guys take care. All right. Yeah, no worries, man. Take care. Wow, that was a really good conversation. They were really open, you know, really open. So again, sticking to the simple facts like this. Again, this is what everybody that's figured out that the Earth is not a ball, especially that the Earth is a level plane, should be doing, is sharing it with new people. Again, getting stuck debating whether it's accelerating or constant, you know, in my opinion, that's just all bullshit, in my opinion. Again, if you really want to debate that or really care about that, then that can come after. That can come after we expose the motionless flat Earth and the globe Earth. Once we expose that at a mass scale, you know, until it becomes common knowledge, then we can talk about the speed of the Earth. You know, then we can all come together and talk about the speed of the Earth, whether it's accelerating, how fast it's moving, if it's constant, if it's acceleration, you know, what I just talked about before. Then we can start theorizing about all of that. Until then, this is what we should be doing. This is what we should be doing, sharing it with new people, you know. And again, if somebody thinks they can prove the globe, well, that's why I'm here. You know, I want people to give me their best proof, right? But at the end of the day, we know that there is no proof of the globe. Not only that, there is no proof of a stationary flat Earth either. So I'm not gonna get stuck on that. All right, so you guys want to give this a shot?
Yeah.
All right, really easy, 2 easy questions. So I have 3 box trucks here, and there's a bowling ball hanging with a string. So out of these 3 trucks, one of the trucks is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So out of these 3, which one is at rest? Yes, B. Yeah, right. So which one is accelerating forward? Yes. Okay, why is that one accelerating forward?
The momentum, the forces act on it in such a way that this one, when it has to balance out, it will be pushed backward.
Yeah, it's due to inertia.
Yeah.
So it resists the motion. So the whole container is moving, but this is, we could say this is being left behind.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and again, I can show this here.
And then the tension works in that
Yes,
direction.
exactly. So if I accelerate in this direction, what direction will the ball swing?
Sorry? Yeah, like that.
It's gonna go back that way, exactly. You know, exactly. 100% of the time, you know, it will always react to acceleration. So here, pretty similar, but here I have a helium balloon, which is less dense than the air that surrounds it. So out of these 3 trucks, which one is at rest? Okay, perfect. Which one's accelerating forward? No.
If it's at rest, it will be this one. Since
No.
its own mass is less, so when the gravity acts in this direction towards the tension, the forces will be higher in this direction, so it will move forward.
No, if you have a helium balloon in a box truck that's at
Yeah.
rest, the helium balloon's gonna wanna go up. So this one will be at rest. 'cause
No,
it's
I'm
tension.
talking about the acceleration one.
Acceleration forward. Yeah,
Because
acceleration
since,
forward,
since
yes.
its mass is less,
Yes.
so mg it will be in the downward direction will be less, so it will be more in that direction.
Yeah.
But the force which is the truck is moving forward will pull it forward.
Yes,
That will be
yes.
greater.
So the simple
since the air is denser.
Yes, the air's more dense, so the air moving in this direction is able to push the helium balloon in that same direction. So that's what we will call buoyancy. It's a chain reaction of motion.
Yeah.
And if something is less dense than the medium that surrounds it, it gets pushed in that same direction, which is buoyancy. Exactly, perfect. So I can even show it right here. Look, I have a ping pong balloon surrounded by water, which is more dense. If I accelerate in this direction, what direction will the ball get pushed? Same direction again. Buoyancy follows the direction of the force 100% of the time. So let me show you guys this. If we understand buoyancy follows the direction of the force, and something that's more dense gets left behind, in other words, matter always reacts to acceleration. Out of these 2, which one did I accelerate down?
Accelerate?
Yeah, I accelerated one of these 2 down. Which one would
Wait,
you say?
what do you mean? What are you talking about? The container?
Yeah, I have
or
a
the-
water bottle like this, and one of them I accelerated down, and one of them I didn't.
This one, which the right one.
The right one, exactly, because that shows the reaction to the acceleration. Again, the buoyant object gets pushed down in the same direction of the force, and then the steel ball just gets left behind.
Yeah.
That's why we have that multi-directional motion,
Absolutely.
because one of us being left. So here's the thing: do you guys believe that when I have this and I release it, do you guys believe it accelerated down in free fall?
In people?
You don't believe there's an acceleration?
No,
in
there
free
is
fall?
due to gravity, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the one on the
There will
left.
also be air friction.
Yeah, so the one on the left is actually free fall, but we see that there is no reaction to that acceleration. So I don't know if you guys knew, gravity is just a theory. So the fact that gravity is just a theory is because physical downwards acceleration has never been measured. So a downwards force has never been measured, and that's why gravity is just a theory. So the fact is that when you release an object into free fall, it didn't accelerate down. So if we understand buoyancy follows the direction of the force, if I have a helium balloon here on Earth and I release it, what direction does the helium balloon go? Exactly. So we know inanimate matter cannot move by itself. So what's moving up the helium balloon? Why does it go up?
So because of its own buoyancy, the air is denser outside,
Yes.
so it moves up.
So the air, could you agree, it pushes the helium
Yeah.
balloon up? Okay, again, we understand matter cannot move on its own. So what's pushing up the air to be able to push up the helium?
So it's the net force acting towards it which sends it upward. So when it's left at rest, the inside is less dense.
Yes.
However, the gravity and it are lesser than the total force acting towards upwards.
So,
that is what.
so you're saying gravity is
Yeah.
acting
It's just
downwards,
calculation.
but
Yeah.
then helium balloon goes in the opposite direction of the downwards force?
Kind of, because again, it's less dense. So you could say it's kind of matter displacement. The weight it displaces
Yeah.
is lesser than its own weight. It's greater than its own weight.
Right.
So it
So
goes
here's the
upwards.
fact. because again, gravity is just a theory, so a downwards force has never been measured, so it's just a theory. So the fact is the force is actually up because the Earth is actually pushing up the air, which is pushing up the helium. Again, buoyancy always follows the same direction as the force. So the force of the Earth is a push, not a pull. So they're telling us that that is a pulling force, like a magnetic force kind of, but that has never been measured, that has never been proven. The fact is, buoyancy shows that the force of the Earth is actually a push. It's a chain reaction of motion. So the Earth pushing up the air compresses the air, and then the air is able to push up the helium. So the Earth is literally moving up right now. So if we could prove, you guys believe the Earth is a ball, right? So if we could prove that the force of the Earth is up and not down, based on what physics shows us, again, buoyancy. If up is relative on a ball, in other words, if you're standing here, up is this way. If you're standing out here, up is opposite, in every direction away from the center. How can the Earth be moving up simultaneously in every direction if it was a ball?
No.
The fact is it wouldn't work, because that would mean the Earth would have to be growing and expanding in every direction to be able to push up. And that would mean the Earth would explode. So in order for people to believe in the ball Earth theory, they first have to believe in the theory of gravity being a pulling force. But the fact is, physics shows that the force of the Earth is a push. So the Earth, again, is a level plane, and it's literally moving up like that. It's pushing up. So the Earth is literally pushing up against you right now. It's not pulling you down towards it. So that's the reality, you know. So that's the fact. So if I was to ask you guys respectfully, what's the number one proof that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
I would say when you
see the ocean outside and there is an edge to the ocean which seems to be spherical, that's just a fraction.
Okay, you guys obviously heard of perspective, right?
Yeah.
Perspective drawings, for example. So there is a limit to how far we can see, because we're not Superman, right? You can only see so far, you know, at a distance. So the horizon is simply the limit of perspective, because when you add altitude, you're able to increase that angle of view, so you're able to see further in front of you. So, and the ground never curves down. It's just the limit of perspective. That's how far we can see. So again, a physical measurement of the Earth as a curve has never been measured either. So not only has a downwards acceleration never been measured, but a physical measurement of the Earth's curvature has never been measured either. Because water, when contained and at rest, is always level. So on the pool or the lake, any lake you go on Earth, the surface when it's at rest is always a horizontal plane. So they're trying to tell us that the Earth curves at 8 inches per mile squared based on the radius that they're telling us, which is 3959, which is a circumference of 24,191 miles. But that curvature, based on that circumference, has never been measured. So the oceans are level. That's why it's called sea level. So again, level being horizontal. They're trying to redefine the word level to mean curve on paper, but that doesn't exist. You know. So again, the Earth is not a ball. It's physically, provably a level plane that's pushing up. So yeah, you guys want to take some information with you?
No, actually we have to head for the lecture.
All right, man. No worries. You guys take care. All right. Take care. All right. So they were not that open as the first group, but you know they couldn't deny it. They couldn't deny it. So far, two really good conversations. You know, I didn't even get to ask the other group what's their number one proof for believing in the globe. You know, so that sucks, but that's cool. Rising Earth, let's see an added constant velocity at any speed to add weight in the slightest. It would not be shown. I already talked about this, rising Earth. You can watch the beginning of the video. And I gave my thoughts to why we don't see that displacement at a constant. If the Earth is moving at a really fast speed, like 500,000 miles an hour, then you need a really fast velocity at a constant to be able to add to that. I already talked about this. So if you're interested in my thoughts on that, rising Earth, you can watch the beginning of this video at the end of the live. And I already covered all the bases when it comes to that. So yeah. Again, if you're truly interested, you can watch the beginning of the video. I already talked about it. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get sucked into this pointless conversation. So I already gave my thoughts and my reasons to why. So yeah, it's there, you know, for anybody to see. And yeah, it was like the first 15 minutes of this live. I already gave my thoughts. So yeah. They don't want to go back, they'll do it later, but demand answers right now. Nah, I already went through it. I don't want to go through it again. Again, I'm not running away from it. I already gave my thoughts. So again, you guys can check it out if you want. Again, you can go back, check it out real quick, 10 minutes. I'll still be here. Don't worry, I'll still be here. Rewind the video, watch it from the beginning, and then truth is not pointless. So yeah, you can rewind the video, watch my thoughts on that. I literally answered your question already, and you can come back and then Let me know your thoughts based on my thoughts. So I already gave my thoughts. So now if you have thoughts based on my thoughts, then sure, fair game. But if you don't know what I said already, then I suggest you go back and watch the beginning. Did the beginning show a demonstration? No, it showed logical reasoning. Logical reasoning. That's what I talked about. Logical reason as to why I don't buy into these experiments. So, in my opinion, these experiments are parlor tricks. And again, if you want to understand why I'm saying that, you can watch the beginning of the video, which I know you are, but if you want to just ignore that for now, then that's fine. But again, you can go back, watch that first 10-15 minutes, and then you'll know my reasons, my logical reasons. So, and I talked about if acceleration adds weight. I already talked about that too. Even if you required acceleration, again, in my opinion, it's not an acceleration increasing your velocity. It's an acceleration while remaining at a constant velocity, because there's a constant change in direction. Because in my opinion, the Earth is not moving in a straight line, and I gave my reasons to why I think that. Why the Earth is not moving in a straight line. So even if acceleration was required, then again, you could still have acceleration moving at a constant velocity. So again, if you want to get stuck on acceleration, that's fine. You can still have acceleration at a constant velocity. So again, so yeah, the physics scale. When we're talking about relative speeds, like if something decelerates relative to a certain speed, then if something is moving way faster, then that deceleration is going to be way faster too, relative to the speed, which at the end of the day remains negligible, but it's relative to the speed when we're talking about speeds. So again, I already went over this. I'm not going to go over it again. Again, you guys can watch the beginning of the video. You guys can make a video on it like you guys always do. So I gave you guys some content already for Rusted Souls and Rising Earth. So yeah, I gave you guys some content already. So you guys can respond to it. You guys again, it's fine. But those little experiments are not going to change my mind. Again, I already talked about what's required. If you're going to claim acceleration at 9.8 meters per second, then I need to see an experiment accelerating 22 miles per second every second without increasing the weight. So in other words, 0 to 220 miles an hour in 10 seconds without an increase in weight. Until I see that experiment, then I'll concede that there is something there. Because again, I don't care whether Earth is accelerating up or not. At the end of the day, that could be talked about after we expose the globe Earth and the stationary flat Earth. The fact that we have the tools, the facts that show that there is no physical downward acceleration and it's the Earth literally moving up, whether you believe it's accelerating, increasing its velocity, or a constant velocity, that doesn't matter. Whatever you believe, that debunks the globe Earth and the stationary flat Earth. So that's my focus, to debunk the globe Earth and the stationary flat Earth at the end of the day. But again, that's something we could talk about after it's exposed. But again, I already gave my thoughts anyway. But until I see an experiment of 22 miles per hour acceleration per second for 10 seconds without increasing in the weight, in other words, your weight remaining a constant, until I see that experiment, then I'll concede that there is something there. Until then, anything else is just a parlor trick, in my opinion. So again, those are my thoughts based on that. So yeah, coming from the person who took months to respond without even having a demonstration. What I do in my free time, what I do in my personal life, that's completely irrelevant. I could have gone 6 months without making a live. What's that to you? What is that? How does that change reality? How does that change my thoughts? I mean, based on reality, So yeah, that's that. So I gave my thoughts, and that's it. You could go make a video about it. You could go respond to it, and yeah, I mean, it's not gonna go nowhere. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna use my time wisely and spread this out to new people. The fact that there is no physical downward acceleration, that's what's important. The fact that the globe Earth requires that, and the fact that the stationary flat Earth also requires that, proves that there is a false dichotomy going on, and it bunks both models. So that's my main focus, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. Again, I'm not dismissing accelerating Earth. I think sure, we could talk about it after, or again, if you have some experiments that are viable, you know, again, based on the claims that you're making, 22 miles per second acceleration per second, then I would say that there is something there. Until then, I'm going to stick to the constant velocity, and the Earth is just moving at a much faster speed than we actually think. I don't think it's moving at 1,000 miles an hour. That's ridiculous. That's too slow based on the size of the Earth. Again, that's just my opinion. I can't prove that, obviously. But the fact that there is a deceleration of 22 miles per hour per second, that shows me that the Earth is moving at a pretty great speed. Because that deceleration has to be almost negligible to the true speed that is decelerating from, which in my opinion is probably at least 500,000 miles an hour, probably faster. So adding 10 miles an hour to that is not going to give you a constant change in weight. It's because it's nothing compared to that speed of the Earth. So again, I already talked about this. You guys can check it out again for anybody that missed this in the beginning of this video, and that's that. You guys can whine and cry all you want, but until you have that experiment that I just said, then I'm not going to buy into it. I'm not going to give it any merit until I see that experiment. Yeah, at the end of the day, nobody knows the exact speed of the Earth. So even claiming that there is no constant change in speed when you add 10 miles an hour, again, if the Earth was moving at a much greater speed, then you wouldn't see that constant change at a constant velocity of just 10 miles an hour. You know, adding to, let's say, 500,000 miles an hour of the Earth or faster, which is in my opinion, you know. So yeah, again, I gave my opinion, and that's that. Again, we don't know if you're saying the vector we're pointing inward, it could be, sure. But relative to us, that vector is vertical. So we have up and down relative to that vector, which if it's pointing inward, then I don't know, it could be pointing at a 45-degree angle. You know, we don't know. I don't know how the Earth is actually fixed relative to the vector, or relative to the whatever's pushing it, or, you know, whatever track is on, or whatever path is on. I don't know the orientation of the Earth relative to that, but yeah, it could well be pointing somewhat inward, sure. But to us, that's still a vertical. That's still up and down. That still gives us our up and down, regardless. So to say that still doesn't dismiss that. What the hell? Again, relative to us, it's still up and down. It's still vertical relative to us. From the outside, sure, the Earth could be in a different angle relative to the path, sure. You know, it's probably not perfectly straight relative to the path. It's probably, you know, at a 45-degree angle, somewhat pointing inward, sure. We don't know. It could be. And to say that and to just dismiss it is completely retarded, in my opinion, because again, the tides show that we're not moving in a straight line at the end of the day. Whether you like it or not, water debunks your claim that the Earth is moving in a straight line. That's just a fact. You can hate reality all you want, you can go against reality all you want, but that's you. That's fine. The Earth is not moving in a straight line based on the tides, which are constant, which shows there's a constant change in direction, which still gives you an acceleration while remaining at a constant velocity. So for all those people that are screaming, oh, you need acceleration for weight, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, water is level relative to the direction of the force, relative to the direction of the vector. Even the mainstream admits that there is a horizontal movement of water. So there is definitely, the oceans are definitely reorientating, but remaining at a level, because they're constantly changing vector, following the vector, in other words. They're constantly following the vector because there's a change in the vector. That shows it's not moving in a straight line. So yeah, water is level, 100%. That still doesn't dismiss that. What? You know? So yeah. So that's that. And again, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I give my thoughts, and that's it. I'm not running away from anything. At the end of the day, just like I didn't care if the Earth was a globe or flat or level, in other words, and just like I didn't care if it was motionless or an upwards motion, I honestly don't care if it's accelerating or constant. But again, based on the lack of evidence and based on the evidence shown, in my opinion, it's a constant velocity. It's just much faster than we think. Literally. So yeah. And what are you doing, Rusted Souls? I'm coming to universities, the place of higher education. This is where all scientists come from, no? Isn't this where all these experts and scientists come from? What are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you talking to? A bunch of trolls online that are in on this? That's who you're talking to? Fake people online? That's better than talking to real people at universities? It's funny how you're trying to downplay this, talking to university students. Imagine I was talking to random people, like, you know, just at shopping malls and stuff. Then I could see maybe you saying stuff like that, like, oh, look at you're wasting your time with the average Joe, you know, that don't know nothing. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm coming to universities, you know, and I don't just speak to freshmen. I'm speaking to seniors as well. I speak to professors. I don't know if you missed that. I speak to professors as well, physics, astrophysicists, scientists that come here. So I don't just talk to 18-year-olds. You're full of shit. Rusted souls. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just talking shit in the background like a little bitch? Yeah, that's what you're doing, literally. That's all you're doing. You're trying to downplay this, but there is no other better way to do this. And if there is, show me. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, dumb bitch. Nah, it's just funny. Because it's not the first time that they come at me like this, so you know, at the end of the day, they could do whatever they want, they could bitch all they want, they could talk all their shit, but they don't do shit. What are they gonna do? Oh, talk about TFE. Oh, look at the sun, look at the shadows. Look at that exposes them as controlled opposition. Coming from a rising earther, someone that supposedly accepts the upwards motion of the earth, still sticking to TFE. What the fuck? You should know that that's just a waste of time. You should know that that's all bullshit, that it's not a real experiment, but yet you focus on that? That shows your true colors. Pathetic. But yeah, I already gave my points at the beginning of the video. So that's that. So the little experiments, in my opinion, that you guys showed is just parlor tricks. That's just my opinion. Again, based on my logic, based on what I've seen. Based on how the deceleration due to inertia is very weak. It's very weak. You know, it's funny how the globe Earth tries to say that gravity is a very weak force. The fact is, the deceleration due to inertia, in my opinion, whatever's causing it, it's very weak. Super weak. It's like, again, it's like if something is moving across, it almost looks like it's not even decelerating. Because the deceleration relative to the speed that everything is moving is very minute. So when people say like, oh, how can you have 22 miles per hour deceleration? Again, that deceleration is minute relative to the speed of the Earth, which again, in my opinion, is moving really, 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 really fast. So to us, 22 miles per hour deceleration in 1 second is fast, but in reality, relative to the speed of the Earth, the true speed of the Earth is very minute. It's almost like it's not decelerating, you know, but it is. You know, so again, it's a very weak, fictitious force, you know, what's causing matter to decelerate, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. But it's funny how the globe Earth model tries to claim that gravity is a very weak force. So again, they're just flipping the script. You know, that's what they do with everything. So that's just the way I see it. You guys want to give it a shot? Oh no. You get knowledge. You guys can take the info if you want. No? Alright. Do we get money for doing it? Nah. Nope. You know what's better than money? Knowledge. Understanding. You know? That's better than money. A lot of things are way better than money. You know, family. Understanding. You know, respect. You know, when respect is given. You know? Humility. Compassion. You know? Common sense. You know? Reality as a whole. It's much more important than money. How can a concept, a man-made concept, have any more significance or importance than anything else here in reality that we experience? Like, that's just, it's fucking crazy that people are, like, they put money first. It's like, it's pretty sad. Like, it kind of like breaks my heart in a way, you know, like, that people are just too stuck in that cult mentality of money is the number one thing, it's the most important thing, you know. It breaks my heart, you know, that people, it's literally life is passing them by. The important things, you know, in life are passing them by just because they're so stuck on money, you know. It's like, it's pretty sad, you know. I could cry, you know what I'm saying? Like, You know, if I was on shrooms, for sure, like just getting deep into thought like this, like for sure I'll be bawling tears, you know, because, you know, it just enhances your emotions, it enhances your compassion, it enhances your common sense, it enhances everything about you, about being human, in my opinion, you know. But again, it doesn't change anything, it just enhances it, you know. It makes you see the little things, it makes you see the importance of the little things, you know. So it's just sad, you know, it sucks. Yeah, that's how they got us, you know. Anything you do has to be some kind of money, you know, reward, you know. And I get it, you know. The fact that they have us in this fucking code where we have to pay for everything, pay a ridiculous amount for rent, pay for a mortgage, pay taxes, you know, paying all this shit. And by default, that's how they get us chasing the money, just to have the necessities, you know. Not only that, people, you know, like toys, you know, like electronics and stuff like that. And again, people just get focused on the money so much because of the things that they get from it, you know. So again, it's all social engineering at the end of the day. That's what people need to realize. The concept of money doesn't have real value, you know. It's just the belief people have in it that gives it the value. Just like a religion. A religion has no real value because nobody knows how this place came to be. But the value is in the belief that people have in it. So again, money is no different than a religion. It's based on faith, you know. And the fact that people are so stuck in it, again, that's why I say government is the #1 religion. They're the ones that provide you this currency, this fake currency. You know, the real currency, in my opinion, is through goods and services. That's where the real value is. You know, not this imaginary money, you know, of trade that we're given, you know. So yeah, man, I wish that I get to live long enough to see this system crumble. You know, it's one of my hopes, you know, in the time that I'm here. And I think we can make it happen. We can definitely make it happen easily. They know this too. Again, the system that runs this, the people that run this system, they know that we can change this like this, you know. And that's why there's so much money put into entertainment, so much money put into these fucking universities and institutions and schooling, in other words. That's why there's so much money put into the military, you know, to just keep people scared and keep people down from standing up, you know. And again, these schools are keeping people dumb, you know. That's why there's so much money being put into these facilities. And not only that, the medical industry dumbing people down, literally getting people sick, keeping people unmotivated. You know, there's so much money being put into keeping us down that is no given because they know that we can turn this shit around quick, you know. But I know it might seem like impossible because we're so far deep into this, but it's never too late. Trust me, it's never too late. With one acorn, you can plant a whole forest. Just know that. Fact. All you need is one acorn, and you can plant a whole forest. You just need patience. You need understanding. You need common sense. You know, and the good things will come. You know. But again, if people are distracted, if people are being, you know, dumbed down, and if people are just ignoring the facts, then yeah, that's gonna make it harder. But that's us making it harder on ourselves. You know, it's up to us at the end of the day. You know, we either make it hard on ourselves, or we can move forward. You know, and again, moving forward is coming to an understanding, basic understanding about this reality and how it functions, because that's how we're gonna get out of this bullshit. You know, that's how we're gonna get out of this fucking fake currency, government, you know, lifestyle that we got going. You know, I know people are scared of true anarchism, right? Or I don't even know if that's a word, but true anarchy. You know, people are, I don't know why they're scared of that, because in the movies, they always paint the anarchists as some bad people that are just want to kill and rape because there's no laws. And the fact is, that's the way to go. You know, not raping and killing. I'm talking about is not having any rulers. Why? Because that is what we will call a hierarchy. That's what we're living. You know, hierarchy, in my opinion, facilitates all these other things of kidnapping and raping and killing and all of this bullshit of this having these levels of authority. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all equals, we're all the same. So to have a hierarchy structure, to me, is an abomination. So true anarchy is the way, but it's not how they depict it in movies, and it's not how history paints it. You know, it's much better, obviously. Anarchy is true equality. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what the Declaration of Independence supposedly states and claims? That all humans are created equal? Then and there, we should be anarchists, right? But no, they claim this, but they give us a structure of a hierarchy structure of hierarchy, you know. So it's like, it's double speak that they do, you know. They contradict their own claims, you know, just like in the science community, you know, history, everything. It's a contradiction of what they actually claim, you know. So. Oof, goddamn, it's pretty windy, man. I might have to lower the camera a bit just so it doesn't fly away. Alright, hopefully none of this flies. Alright, let me read some of the comments in the chat. I know I haven't even checked the chat for a minute. Let me see. Woo. JC, William isn't pushing a model to these students. He's showing them that there is an upwards vector. Exactly. I'm showing that the vector is not down, it's up. And that debunks the whole globe Earth model. You know, because gravity is the glue to the heliocentric model. You know, so that's my main point, like I said earlier. You know, that's my main goal, is to debunk the globe Earth and to debunk the stationary flat Earth at the same time, with one proof, with one fact, that the vector of the Earth is up. Again, whether you want to claim it's accelerating, increasing its velocity, or a constant velocity, that to me is irrelevant when it comes to debunking the globe. So, and I already gave my thoughts on that again, but yeah, that's my main goal, is just to show that there's an upwards vector and that there is no pulling force of gravity. That's exactly what I'm doing, exactly. Again, also, that fact that there is no measurable curvature on Earth, shown by water. Water doesn't bend on the surface, right? It doesn't stick to a ball, like it's spinning, you know. So yeah, all of these claims defy physics. The fact that outer space next to the Earth's pressurized system without a solid barrier separating the two, like, you know, these are simple facts of entropy, you know, that debunks that claim. The fact is the Earth is a contained system. In order to have pressure on Earth, you need a container and you need motion. You need a force. And that's exactly what we're experiencing, you know. So yeah, I'm sticking to the facts, you know, and that's it. Jaren went to Antarctica. What have you done? I don't know if you're being sarcastic, Angelito. Angelito. I don't know if that's being sarcastic. You made me laugh, though. Jaren went to Antarctica. What have you done? That's funny. Were you being sarcastic or not? I'm gonna assume you were. That's right. It's crazy. I haven't smoked in over 3 months. And I still feel high. People would say, oh, I'm high on life, right? I think that's what I'm experiencing. I'm just high on life right now. Feels good though. Jaren was my main guy. I'm shook. I can relate to that, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, you know, at the beginning of all this in 2016, I really supported Eric Dubé, you know. You could almost say that I was a fan, you know, but you know, you gotta stick with the facts. You gotta stick with reality. You gotta stick with your own understanding instead of what other people are preaching. So I was a little shook as well, you know, so I can definitely relate. So, but yeah, that literally just showed me that you can't trust anyone at the end of the day. You know, people lie at the end of the day. People, you know, are human. You know, we're all human, you know, so you could definitely be bribed. You could definitely lie for whatever reason. You could definitely have a misunderstanding as well. You know, I'm not necessarily going to say 100% lying for anybody that goes against this. You know, you could just simply be ignorant and just not have a full understanding of how reality works, right? So again, at the end of the day, there's human error, there's bribery, there's, you know, sellouts. You know, there's a lot of different things that show you that you shouldn't just trust someone on their word, you know. And yeah, you know, we all have to come to that on our own, because hearing it from someone else, it's just words. It just sounds like going in your ear, and that's it, you know. It's not until you experience it for yourself and understand it for yourself, then you come to realize this, you know. And that's just with everything in life, you know. When it comes to learning how fire's hot, you don't learn that fire's hot just because someone told you fire's hot. You have to experience fire burning you, literally. Then you understand. Then you have an understanding of fire being hot. You know, you have to experience it for yourself. You have to come to that on your own. Because again, somebody just telling you fire's hot, that's just words going in your ear. That doesn't have real meaning. You know? Just like pain in any sort, you know, like, oh, you know, you feel pain, or what is pain? Somebody that's never felt pain before, they're not going to be able to think about or even, you know, conceptualize what pain is until they feel it, you know. And that's when you have an understanding now, you know. And now we can have some common ground based on that, you know. So yeah, that's how life works. That's just reality, you know. You can't just take people's word at the end of the day, you know. So hopefully the audio is not bad. I didn't think it was going to be this windy. I would have probably installed my mic, but hopefully the audio is not that bad. I guess I'll see when I go on editing. I stood a quarter on its side for 18 hours, disproving the upwards moving. Try to stand that on its side for a second in an upwards moving elevator. Are you really going to compare the engineering of an elevator to the engineering of the earth? Is that what you're doing? You're comparing man-made creations to God creations? Is that what you're doing, Euro James? Oh my God! Wow! Wow! What an ignorant ass comment. Way to like belittle God, right there. Way to mock God. In other words, man. Damn. Have a little bit of respect, man. To try and compare man-made devices to the earth, like, come on. Yeah, obviously an elevator shakes and it has different aspects to, like, you know, it's like, come on, the engineering of an elevator is not even near the engineering of the earth. Come on. You can't be serious. You can't tell me that that's enough for you to debunk the upwards motion of the earth. You can't tell me that that's enough. Like, wow. If it is, kind of feel sorry for you. Again, nothing personal, you know, just if you're truly being honest and it truly convinces you, Yikes. Yikes. What's up, Planar Reality? Execrate 200, what's up? God damn. It's like the third ambulance. Again, people's health is just going downhill, you know? I mean, I'm not surprised here in the States. I know in a lot of other places, like in Europe and in other countries, they banned a lot of ingredients that we still have here in the States, like food coloring and shit like that, like high fructose corn syrups, you know, a lot of fucking shitty ass ingredients. A lot of people make videos on this. They have the same product, 2 different countries, and the ingredients are way cleaner in another country, like in Europe, for example. Here in the States is just garbage. A lot of fillers, you know, a lot of dyes, you know, just a lot of chemicals in the food, like no other. And it's no given, you know, right here that people get sick the most. I always hear that, like when people come from Mexico to here to the US, they never will get sick when they lived in Mexico, but then they come here and then they start to get sick. You know, I hear this a lot, you know, and I'm sure, you know, you'll probably hear the same from other people from different countries that come here. You know, not only is the air quality garbage, but all the food here also is garbage. You know, so it's no given that people that come here from another country, they instantly feel the difference. You know, that they feel more ill, they feel more congested, they get more sick, they start getting the flu, you know, more quickly and stuff like that. It's like, it's no given, you know. It doesn't take a genius to realize, you know, what's going on. So, shit. They're just doing drills, it's a false flag. The fact that things don't accelerate in free fall trips me out. Exactly. Yeah, that should be the main thing that everybody should be focusing on. There is no downwards acceleration in free fall. Like, that's huge. Because you release something into free fall and you see it move down, right? Visually, it looks like it went down quick, and it increases, right, by the second. That change in velocity between the Earth and the free falling object, it's quick, you know. And the fact that there is no effects of that acceleration, that matter doesn't react to that whatsoever. Accelerometers don't detect that, when it literally detects any slight movement in any other direction, but it doesn't in free fall. Like, that should be a huge red flag, you know, for most people, you know. And again, if you're an honest person, and you don't have a bias, and you don't have a cult mentality or religious in any way, then you would see that would click, you know. That should be the starting point to questioning this, to questioning your reality, you know. Because in my opinion, the ball of Earth is not the biggest lie on Earth. The biggest lie on Earth is the fact that people believe objects accelerate down in free fall. That's the biggest lie on Earth to date. Because why? Not only do globe earthers have to believe that by default, but stationary flat earthers, which is over 95% of flat earthers, also have to believe that. So that becomes the number one lie on Earth, that objects accelerate down in free fall. That's the number one lie on Earth, you know, easily. So yeah, it's pretty crazy that people can't see the significance in that, you know. It's pretty bizarre, you know. That just shows that people are not thinking straight, you know. They're not really getting in. I don't know if they're scared to think about it, because I get it, you know, to question your entire reality, you know, to have your whole reality flipped upside down, you know. I get it, it's not easy, it's not an easy pill to swallow, you know, but just know this, the reality is not going to change. The physics about this reality are not going to change. So the only thing that can change is you can only change yourself and adapt to what's true, to what can be demonstrated, you know. So that's the only thing you can change, is yourself. You know, and then hopefully once you get an understanding of this, hopefully you can inspire others to change as well. You can, because at the end of the day, I can't change anyone. I can only try to inspire others or motivate others, whatever word you want to use, for that they can change themselves. Because nobody can change you, and you can't change no one. That's just a fact. People have to change on their own. People have to change for themselves, you know. And that's the only way you're going to see progress. You know? But if people are stuck in their beliefs and they're stuck with the cult mentality, then we're not going to see a change as a whole. Because the only way to see a change as a whole is for individuals to take accountability, to take responsibility, you know, for themselves. Once a lot of individuals start to do that, then we'll start to see a change as a whole. Until then, nothing's going to change. So people that are waiting for others to change before they can start changing, like, no. You be the change you want to see. It's literally that simple. You want to change in the world? Be the change you want to see. Literally. Because waiting for others is not going to change anything. You know? Because if everybody has that mentality of waiting for others to change, then nobody's going to change. So again, at the end of the day, be the change you want to see in others. You know? Or just be you. Be honest with yourself. You know? And then that's probably some of the best advice I could give anyone, you know, at the end of the day. So, yeah. Alright. Hopefully we could get one more conversation. If not, then the first two that I had was good enough, in my opinion. I got to pass out like 6 flyers already, 6, 7 flyers. So again, even if I just talk to one person when I come out, that's progress. You know? Even if I don't speak to anyone, speaking my mind here on the internet, and somebody sharing this to somebody new, even that's progress. You know? So any effort, believe it or not, doesn't go wasted. Trust me. Any effort that you put into this is not going to go wasted. Again, it might seem insignificant, but in reality, it's making a difference. Whether if it's very small or not, it's going to make a difference regardless. Any effort will make a difference. Trust me. So yeah, man. Oh my God. God damn. Fucking phone almost flipped over. Yeah, how can I stop this from flipping? Come on. Can you put my water next to it? Let me see if I can do this. There we go. We'll see if that holds it. Oh my God. Fuck. There we go. Let's try that. Alright, let me read some of the comments. Fucking air. Give me a break. Era James Rogers. Objects do this due to dielectric acceleration beneath a torus field. In the same way, a positive magnet attracts its opposite. Again, a magnet only affects metal. And if you have a metal container, like a metal water bottle made of metal, and you put water and air inside that container, even a magnet acceleration due to the magnet force will cause the displacement of the liquids inside. A magnet cannot accelerate solids, liquids, and gas at the same rate. Now, if you're saying that it's not magnets, that it's some kind of other dielectric acceleration, well, then you're going to need an experiment to recreate that kind of acceleration in a different vector other than free fall. Because if all you have is free fall to prove your claim, then that's no different than the globe Earth. You know? That's no different than a globe Earth claiming that they prove gravity just by dropping something. You know, that's special pleading. You know, that's special pleading, you know. So that's not going to cut it here, you know. Again, making these baseless claims, it's not going to go nowhere. Not with someone like me, you know. Natalie, some people cannot be helped, nor do they want to be. Exactly, that's true. Some people want to remain ignorant. Some people don't want to progress, you know? And that's fine. That's your free will. That's your choice. You know, nobody's forcing you. You know, I'm not forcing this on people. You know, I'm just stating facts. And if it resonates with people, if people understand it, then great. And if you don't care, so be it. You know, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't change reality. You know, so for the people that don't want to be helped, fair enough. It's your free will. We're here to do whatever we want at the end of the day, you know, and ignoring reality is what you want to do, then so be it. You're free to do that. You know, you got free will, and you can put that will wherever you want. But in my opinion, most people don't have free will. Why? Because they've been brainwashed since birth. So what kind of free will could you actually have if you've been mentally crippled since you were born? Could you say that you have free will if you don't have a full understanding of everything? If you believe things that oppose your reality, could you say that you have free will? Because free will to me comes with an understanding and then making a choice based on your understanding. So if people don't have that understanding, are they really making a free will choice? In my opinion, no. So most people don't even have free will, in my opinion. You know, but that's just part of the propaganda, part of the brainwashing to ignore, you know, reality. And people believe that that's their free will to do that. And the reality is, no, you've just been falling into the propaganda. You know, you're just falling into the propaganda, and I hate to break it to you, and you've just been lied to, you've been brainwashed. You know, so that's that, man. Angelito, I tried to force it on my family, but they think I'm crazy now. That's just a defense mechanism to completely ridicule and violently oppose or ignore, right? To name call. You know, obviously they're calling you crazy. I would say that's either they're ridiculing or they're violently opposing it, or both, right? It's just a defense mechanism because obviously it's too much. You know, they're too stuck in the matrix. They're too sucked in the matrix that they cannot even fathom that the whole reality has been a lie. So it's just like a defense mechanism that happens kind of naturally in a way. You know, it's kind of like a human cannot go from A to Z. Right? You need to go through the steps to understand. So when you present the information, their brain cannot take it all in at once. So it's like a barrier that comes up, you know? And then it's just a way for them to feel better about themselves. You know, nothing to do with reality, nothing to do with physics, nothing to do with understanding. No, it's just again, it's just a defense mechanism, and it's just social programming, social engineering, you know, at the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. Again, and there's nothing personal towards anyone that, you know, that experiences this or sees others experience this, but it's just the reality, you know. And it's with any subject, you know, that goes against people's beliefs. You know, any religious person, you know, and it will act this way as well. So it's the matrix, not in a sense where it's a digital world. It's the matrix, in my opinion, in a sense where it was a man-made construct that we live. This whole society, the belief people have about the earth and this reality, what it actually is, what the universe is. So people believing that the earth is something that it's not is the matrix. It doesn't, I'm not saying it as in like, oh, this is a virtual world. No. I'm just using it as an analogy. As in people believing something that they're living a false reality, in other words. You know, that's how I mean it. Again, by believing that this reality is something that it's not, believing that we have to work, you know, and pay taxes and use this currency that they present to us, but by believing all of that, you're living a false reality. And that's what I mean about the matrix. People are too stuck into that belief, you know, that they're thinking outside of that is just not in their capacity. It's not in their mental capacity to do that. At least not yet. You know, I hope that everybody can get there one day. You know, but yeah, it's just what it is. God damn, it's fucking windy as fudge. remember, windy days are usually in fall, right? Before winter, it's like when usually you get like a really high winds is during fall season. The fact that it's this windy right now and it's spring, it's kind of throwing me off a bit. You know, I mean, I don't mind it, you know. I just right now because of my fucking equipment here, it's being fucking blown. I'm literally having to hold my camera right now. Kind of sucks. It almost tipped over a couple times, you know. Like, again, I don't mind the wind, but damn, it's a little strong. I don't know if you guys can see the camera shaking. Pretty crazy. Man, the pad agreed. Like the speed, I don't care either way. It's not important enough for me to fight about it. I'm open to what's objective true. Yeah, exactly. Again, like I said before, I'm open to if it is accelerating at an increased velocity or if it's a constant velocity. I'm open to that, you know. But I'm not gonna focus on it and make it like the one thing that I'm gonna fucking get stuck on, you know. And then to be called a shill because, in my opinion, it is a constant velocity. Like, it's just all bullshit. Literally, it's just a way for them, in my opinion, to kind of discredit me. I guess I don't know. Kind of weird, but pretty weird. Oh yeah, Angelito, the New Year, supposedly the real New Year starts in spring, which is in April or the end of March, right? Yeah, I know the calendar that we use is all fucked. You know, so yeah, no giving that people are all over the place. You know. The only reason why I see like having a calendar or having some kind of tracking system of the seasons relevant, the only way I see that relevant is for crops, for plantation. You know, it's like, oh shit, this is the best time of the year to grow food, for example, or you know, that's the only relevance that I see in keeping track of the seasons or even having a calendar to begin with, is to be able to know when to grow your crops, what time of year, right? Is to know what time of year is coming and how many days you have, you know, to grow food at the end of the day. Other than that, I don't see any relevance of keeping track of the years or the months or a calendar, in other words, to have a calendar. Like, other than that, I literally don't see any real relevance to that. Because we're here to experience reality, right? We're just here to be, right? But at the end of the day, to be here to experiencing reality, we do need to eat. We need input. You know, we need to eat something to keep us living, to keep experiencing this. And that's where keeping track of the seasons or even having a calendar will be relevant. Is to be able to know how to grow our food, to be able to scavenge for food, you know, stuff like that. It's by knowing the seasons. Again, other than that, I see no relevance or reason why we should even have a calendar or why we should even keep track of time like this, like we are right now. You know, and to top it all off, the calendar that we use is all fucked. It makes no fucking sense, you know? So, one man, human beings, not human doings, exactly. Even in you know, the words have a lot of clues, you know? Because again, in order to create a language, words need to have meaning. In order for people to be able to understand each other using words, your words need to have meaning. They need to be attached to reality. If not, then we'd just be talking gibberish, right? So the fact that we have languages, you know, there's a lot of hints in words, a lot of clues in words. It's funny how the mainstream nowadays likes to make up a lot of words that contradicts the real word, right? Or they make up a lot of definitions to words too. And so now there's a lot of twisting of our language that's going on. But the fact is, a true language has to be rooted in reality in order for it to make any sense. And that's why, in my opinion, there's a lot of clues in words. You know? Like sea level, for example. Level meaning horizontal. and then the word sea, oceans, to describe the oceans. So sea level, in other words, means ocean, horizontal oceans. It's another word to say sea level. Because why? Because there's definitions, there's meaning to these words. You know, it's the mainstream now that's trying to twist the definitions and twist the meanings and creating new words as well to warp our reality. That's the only way they could do it, is through language. The fact is, reality is not going to change. Reality doesn't warp, doesn't change. Which kind of reminds me of the fucking Mandela effect. Because that's literally what people have to believe that's happening, is that reality is warping, right? The fifth and sixth dimensions are merging with our reality, and there's some kind of warping going on and merging, and I don't know, this bullshit. Like, literally, that's what they have to believe, that there's some kind of warping of reality going on. Which, in my opinion, is no different than the bending and warping of space-time. Which is the explanation of the downwards acceleration without any effects of downwards acceleration from the globe Earth model. Fact is, reality doesn't warp, it doesn't change. Words and definitions can be warped and changed to change people's perception. And that's exactly what we're experiencing. That's exactly what's happening. That's as far as it could go. And it sucks that people are falling for that. People are falling for that. That's how they're doing it. That's how they're brainwashing people. It's by warping their perception, by warping the definitions, and by warping the words about the reality. That's how they're getting away with it. And they're getting us at a very young age, because obviously they know a grown adult that has common sense, that trusts their intuition, their own knowledge, their own experience, and their own understanding. They know that a person like that cannot be swayed. They know that. That's a fact. You can't come with me with childish experiments or explanations, about this reality, when I know they're ridiculous and they contradict what I already know. They cannot sway somebody that's already like that as an adult. That's why they get us when we're very, very, very young, and start warping our perceptions when we're very, very, very young. Because now you're gonna have somebody grow up as an adult that's already been brainwashed. It's easier to brainwash a child than it is to a grown adult. Let's just say that. Unless you're already an adult that's been brainwashed as a child, then yeah, you're gonna be easily brainwashed by other things. But an adult that's not brainwashed whatsoever and trusts their own common sense and their own understanding about this reality, you're not gonna have you're not gonna be able to brainwash them, I guess, as easy. So it's no given that they get us when we're very young, and yeah, people just grow up into adults with these beliefs and these faulty reasonings and explanations, and yeah, and then it's no given that people are so easily brainwashed now by other things, because they're not properly grounded. If you're not properly grounded as an adult, then you're going to be easily swayed. So that's just a fact. No story now. Cheers, geezers. Geezer. In a castle, they used to cast iron, not live nor defend. Huh. That's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what castles were used for. They were used to cast iron. They were furnaces. The black on the sides is where they would pour the slack of the molten iron. Interesting. Never heard that before, actually. The castles were used for casting iron. Interesting. It kind of seems a little egotistic for people to live in castles, huh? That's where the kings and queens would live, right? In a castle. It's like, why the fuck do you need that big of a house? Like, doesn't make any sense, right? So I guess it's just stories, right? So yeah, kind of funny. Quite the shit show in the old stationary FE forum, eh? I don't really pay attention to none of that. So I bet it is, man. I bet. All these motionless flat earth, discords, I bet, are fucking shit show. You know. Yeah, I'm not even on Discord at all. At all. I don't know why. It just doesn't appeal to me. Kind of weird. I don't know why. It just doesn't appeal to me, like Discord. I don't know why. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But yeah, I bet that stationary flat earth discords, globe earth discords, fuck. I bet they're a fucking shit show, man. God damn, man, this wind kind of sucks, making it hard. I can't imagine having a conversation right now and holding my camera at the same time. I may have to though. If someone comes up. I was gonna go live exactly like at 11 a.m. But I realized that once I set up my table, the banner, I set up everything literally, and I was gonna bring out my phone to go live, I realized that I left it charging in the car. So I was like, no. So I had to put everything away again real quick, run to my car and get my phone, and then come back and set up again. I was gonna go live much sooner, but it only took me like 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes to go to my to put everything away, to go to my car and get my phone and come back and set up again. It took me about 10 minutes or so, a little over. That was a little frustrating. I was like, oh my god, because I usually don't charge my phone in the car. It's usually just in my backpack already, but I charged it just so it could be 100%. It was like at 86%, so I just charged it just so it could be at 100% for the fuck of it, because I don't even think I was gonna use up the whole 86% anyway, but for the fuck of it I charged it and I fucking forgot it. That was a dope moment. Everything is becoming obsolete. Sports, money, music, etc., etc. Angelito, yeah, I would agree. Everything's like losing its sting, you could say. You know? Like obviously when something is new, it's more exciting, right? So the further that this goes on, the more old it gets, and then just the more played out it gets. You know? It's just nature of everything in a way, you know. So when something is new, when you discover something new, it's like it's more exciting in the beginning, right? Yeah. But money, you know, people gambling, betting, that's what keeps sports interesting, right? In my opinion, like that's what, you know, that's there's a lot of gambling that goes on behind sports, boxing. You know, obviously any sport whatsoever. You know, money keeps it interesting for a lot of people. Dopamine overload, JC, true. We're an overstimulated people, yeah. I agree. What's up, Andrew? I have to watch this back because I missed loads. Yeah. That's cool. It'll be up. If you missed the conversations, I had 2 conversations already. They're really good conversations in the beginning. So yeah, you'll be able to catch some of those. Boomy, I love football as a kid. Can't watch any sports these days. Just my kids when they play. No, yeah. Yeah, I don't really watch. I don't watch sports like religiously. I'm not gonna lie, I do watch soccer here and there, and mainly just the Champions League. And to be honest, I miss a lot of games. I mainly just watch highlights of the Champions League. And if I can, I'll watch the final, you know, the semifinals. Usually when it goes into playoffs, then I'll watch some of the games. Again, if I don't work, for example, or you know, but I've missed a lot of games coming to do lives, because usually most of the games are around 12 p.m. I don't know if you guys knew, for those of you that watch soccer and are familiar with the Champions League, most games are at 12. All the good games are usually at 12 p.m. If you're in the States, you know, right at noon, which is literally right in the middle of when I come out. I usually come out here between 11 and 1, around there, you know, 12 and 2, you know, so obviously I don't prioritize it, you know, obviously I prioritize this, you know, but on occasions I do watch some games, you know, I watch highlights for fun, you know, but other than that I don't watch anything else really, you know, when it comes to sports, you know. Renewed awareness, quarterfinals next week. Oh yeah, it's true. I forgot it's already the playoffs. Yeah, I remember watching the PSG Liverpool game. They went to penalties. That was pretty crazy because my brother's a PSG fan, like a die-hard PSG fan. So I watched some of that game. I kind of missed the penalties because I had to work, but damn, I was nervous for my brother because he's been wanting PSG to win a Champions League. So if they would have lost, that's another year, huh? So yeah, that was a big upset actually, because Liverpool was the number 1 seed. They were the number 1 seed in the whole tournament. To get eliminated in penalties like that was, damn, that was crazy. That was crazy. So yeah, I mean, the playoffs they're fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I don't need to bet money to make it interesting. I literally watch it for just, you know, for the love of the game, you could say, right? Because I grew up playing soccer as well, so obviously it's my favorite sport. So I really enjoy the game, you know. So it's gonna be fun if my kids, you know, get into playing as well. It'll be really fun to watch them play. So that's something to look forward to for sure. But yeah, soccer to me is a really football, like they call it in Europe, right? We call it soccer here in the States. It's fun. It's fun for sure. JC, me and my son watch pro wrestling. He knows it's all scripted work, and I tell him politics are the same thing. I remember growing up, I was really into wrestling too. It just reminded me, JC, when I was like in middle school, I would say, like, yeah, I was literally, had to be in like middle school for sure. I was really into wrestling, and I wanted to believe it was all real. I remember. I remember had my parents pay for the pay-per-views, like the SummerSlam and stuff like that. So yeah, I remember I was really into wrestling too. That was crazy times for sure. I remember like a couple years ago, like watching some of the stuff back, kind of like for comedic reasons, like just to see the acting, you know, it's kind of funny to me, like as an adult now. Like it's entertaining in a comedic way now. To see these grown men, you know, basically have their little drama. It's like a soap opera, you know. And obviously like how they fake their fights, you know, like, you know, it's pretty funny, yeah. Well, at least to me, you know. So I remember watching some of that a couple years ago, going back and watching some of it. Pretty funny. Simon, our wrestling in the UK was different. Still an act, but it was better in my opinion. Oh, okay. I never watched European wrestling. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the WWF and the WWE, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with what is it, Raw and SmackDown, the two different companies now that is split into. Raw and SmackDown, that's what it is. If I'm not mistaken, that's still what it is right now, you know. But yeah, wrestling is pretty funny. But yeah, man, that's what being a kid is, you know, just get into stuff like that and shit. Pretty funny. All right. Wow, an hour and 15 minutes already. All right, hopefully I'll stick around for another 15 minutes, see if I could get another conversation, and if not, then I'm gonna go ahead and call it, but I'll wait a little bit. It makes it worth getting a hangout with my teenage son. Oh yeah. I bet. Oh, my back. Damn, this wind hasn't stopped. God damn. No story now. Water in my bucket knows we are contained. Yes. Not only does the water show we're contained, the air pressure here on Earth shows we're contained. You know, again, show me air pressure without a container. You can't. You cannot show air pressure without a container. Fact. And when I mean a container, I mean a physical barrier, a physical container, a solid barrier, not gravity pulling the air in. Like, that's not a container. Gravity is not even a force to begin with. You know, so when people say that, oh, the container of the air is gravity, right, pulling it, it's like, well, that's just a theory. That's just a theory to back up another theory. And that theory to begin with, is not even real. It goes against physics. So you're starting from a false premise, you know, at the end of the day. So again, the fact that people have beliefs backed by other beliefs that are backed by other beliefs that are not backed by anything, that go against reality, if that's not the definition of starting from a false premise, then I don't know what is, you know. Like, everybody knows when it comes to the scientific community, right? If you start from a false premise, then everything that you built off that false premise is bullshit too. It goes down with it as well. If you're building off a false premise, then everything that was built on that is bullshit by default. You know, and that's the entire heliocentric model, which is built off of a false premise that gravity is a pulling force that accelerates objects in free fall. So again, everybody knows this. That's a simple fact, you know, when you start from a false premise. You know, that everything that comes after that is gonna be bullshit, you know. So, whew. God damn. I'm surprised that a lot of people don't stop to have a conversation, you know, considering the amount of people that have passed by. But then you have other days where it's non-stop conversations, literally from beginning to end. I've had days like that, where, you know, after one conversation, not even a couple minutes, another one, and then same thing all the way to the end of the 2-hour mark. You know, non-stop conversations. And then you have other days that only get like one conversation, you know. And then, yeah, today was kind of like that. I've only had 2 conversations, you know, but obviously some is better than none, obviously, but it's crazy. You know, that just shows that, you know, people are just random, you know. Some people are gonna be interested one day and then maybe not another day, you know. It's just crazy. So again, at the end of the day, when it comes to the shape of the Earth, again, understanding that matter always reacts to acceleration or always reacts to a force, understanding that simple fact, you know, debunks the pulling force of gravity. Why? Because in free fall, when you have something in free fall, like a container with matter inside of it, the matter inside the container doesn't react to that alleged acceleration in free fall, showing that is not being accelerated, showing that there is no force in free fall, which is no given to why gravity is just a theory, because it has never been physically measured or proven by that simple fact that there is no displacement, there is no reaction of matter in acceleration due to the acceleration in free fall, because there is no acceleration. You know, free fall, in my opinion, again, is a loss of momentum. It's the Earth that comes up to meet the object in free fall. The air not being dense enough to push up a bowling ball, for example, like it does a helium balloon, you know, shows, in my opinion, that it's the Earth that comes up to meet the bowling ball. And that same motion of the Earth moving up to meet the bowling ball, it's the same motion, the same force that's pushing and compressing the air to be able to push a helium balloon up as well. Again, that being buoyancy. Buoyancy being a chain reaction of motion, of something pushing something else to push something else to push something else. You know, that chain reaction of motion is only present when connected to the earth. Buoyancy is only a factor when connected to the earth. Something that's in free fall that has a buoyant object inside of it is not going to experience buoyancy because it's no longer connected to the earth. It's no longer experiencing that upwards push. It's only when connected to the earth that you experience that upwards push. You know, helium, a helium balloon debunks gravity. And not only that, it shows that the vector or the force of the earth is up. A simple helium balloon. Again, understanding that the physics of buoyancy, that it always follows the same direction as the force, shows that the force of the earth is up. And it's actually a push, not a pull. So again, that can be recreated, demonstrated in any vector. I'll go ahead and show that before, you know, calling it. Let me see. Oh my god, I'm telling you, I have to add it again. I guess I'll add it. Let's see if I can add it real quick. There we go. We'll do that one. Make sure something together. And we'll do these two. So buoyancy, again, the helium balloon always follows the direction of the force 100% of the time. You know, a helium balloon surrounded by air will always get pushed in the direction of the force. And you can do this with different states of matter as well, not just helium and air. You can do it with air and water. Here, again, the ping pong ball, the red ping pong ball, is the buoyant object, and it reacts to the acceleration. It always gets pushed in the same direction as the force. I don't need to tell you what direction that force is, to the right or to the left. I don't need to tell you. You should be able to come to that conclusion yourself based on your understanding, you know? So again, understanding this simple fact that matter will always react to acceleration and buoyancy will always follow the direction of the force debunks the entire heliocentric model, and also proves that the vector of the earth is up and the force of the earth is a push, not a pull. You know, that simple. Literally that simple. A child can understand this. You know, an elementary student can understand this 100%. Easy. It's when you add all the indoctrination, all the propaganda, all the lies, you know, it's when you start adding all of that cripples a child's mentality to doubt their own common sense. And that's when you start to brainwash a child, you know. It's when you start to make them believe the contrary to what this reality shows. It's when you start making them doubt their own common sense. It's when, you know, a child obviously starts to get brainwashed. Because they trust authority, they trust their parents, they trust the adults. And that's where it starts, you know, it's by putting trust in another human being over your own common sense and understanding. You know, that's where everything goes to shit at the end of the day, you know. So, yeah. Alright. A couple more minutes. See if I could get one more, and if not, that'll be it for this one. JC, the only force is applied pressure, exactly. That is the only force. applied pressure. And you can't have applied pressure without any physical contact of some sort. Something has to be pushing something else to have applied pressure. And then, yeah. Everything else after that is just effects of that applied pressure. Whether it's weight, buoyancy, displacement, you know, or whatever you want to call it, you know, it all relies on applied pressure, you know, on force. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting stuff away real quick. If somebody comes up to the table, then I'll entertain the conversation in the next few minutes if somebody comes up, but other than that, I'm gonna start putting some of this away. All right, that's gonna be it for this one. Hopefully I could get back into rhythm again, you know. It's just that, you know, when, you know, having to work a lot, when I get a day off, you know, I literally just want to spend it with my kids, my family, you know, with my wife, and just relax, to be honest. You know, it is a lot, you know. So hopefully, you know, I'm able to come out and do this a little more often than I have been, obviously. I'm gonna make the effort, you know. So yeah, that's gonna be that. And yeah, I guess thanks again for everybody that joined the live, for anybody that watches the videos, that shares them, that likes them, you know, thanks. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.